four-star school system that continuously grows beyond just its student body. Right here in the heart of Fortville, I'm Badri Alvandar, and this is Inside MV. Welcome, Mount Vernon High School, home of the Marauders. Today we have a lineup of guests from both the administration and the high school. I have with me here Dr. Robbins, Mount Vernon Superintendent.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So how's your day today so far?
It's good. Got through the storms last night. It's a little warm and humid today, but it's a great day so far.
Yeah. On to our first question. How do you like it here at MV?
Love it. I love it for two reasons. Number one, it's been a community that has embraced a lot of the things that we're trying to accomplish with our administration. The second piece about it I really enjoy is the fact that both my boys, well, I should say one of my sons goes to school here, the other one graduated this past spring, so that's been neat too.
So you shook his hand when he graduated?
I did.
How did that feel?
It was awesome. It was a neat experience.
First year and then your son's last year. Wonder how it feels.
I'm sure he was glad it was his last.
Now, our last superintendent, nothing really changed, but when you came in, it was like a surge of changes. Like, you were able to renovate the middle school and then get more foreign language classes and all that. Chromebooks even, like that revolutionized us.
Sure.
So how'd you do that?
Well, it was somewhat of a perfect storm for us. Two things that were really important. Number one, the state legislators had seen the wisdom in changing the funding formula, and so for us, that meant more money for the student population that we had. So that was the first thing. The second is we've been very aggressive on people who provide us services and competing for our business so that we can stretch the taxpayer dollar as far as we can. And so those two things together had freed up some money that we were able to do some things. And then honestly, there was a third component to that. And as we have worked through the recession and the housing market has started to rebound, it's not been a huge increase, but we have seen an increase in student enrollment in all of our buildings in the district. And so with greater student enrollment, you have more revenue bringing itself into the community and into the district.
Yeah, it looks like we can't joke that the school's broke anymore,
No.
we?
No. That was our goal, was to make sure that we were very fiscally solvent, because that's important when people look at a community they're going to move into. If it's a strong school system that's financially balanced in their budget, then they'll feel a little more comfortable about bringing their kids to school there.
Yeah, all of these achievements of yours have led you to earn the Superintendent of the Year for District 5. How does that feel?
Well, I would say they're not my achievements. I've just been fortunate and blessed to be a part of, this rebirth, so to speak, of our school district. And so because I'm the superintendent, I get the good and the bad, and so that's just one thing that I can say represents all the great things that our teachers, our staff, and our students are doing in our community and our school district, and I've been the recipient of that.
So would you like to thank anyone for that?
Well, yeah, honestly, the biggest thanks goes out to the Mount Vernon community as a whole, because we have been able to do a lot of things to revolutionize some of the things that we're doing. We've always been a good school district. 4-star school, A school buildings, but we're now taking it a step further and trying to bring 21st century technology into the district and trying to think of ways that will make us, better, stand out, so to speak, from school districts in the county and in the area. And so, from our business department, and central office, to our teachers, to our staff, to our students, who have accepted all these changes, and we've been able to do some very positive things. The thanks goes to all of them.
And I'm thankful for that too. It's making my junior and senior years very great.
Oh, I'm glad. I love the feedback from students. Delayed starts that we utilize for professional development, our e-learning days that we've tried to incorporate into our school day and our school year, and to hear students leveraging it. Hopefully it's preparing you even better for what you're going to experience when you leave the walls of Mount Vernon.
I'm sure it will. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice having you on. So would you like to add anything else?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from what we're trying to accomplish is it's an ever-changing world that we live in. And so change is the one constant you can count on, and we're trying to demonstrate the need to be flexible and accept that change and make the best out of it. And I guess that would be the one thing that I would say as a new superintendent going into my second year. We did bring about a lot of change early on, and we'll look at refining our processes and trying to get better and better every day at what we do. And the enormity of that change will start to diminish a little bit, but the way people have accepted the change and tried to make the best of it and see the wisdom in what we're trying to accomplish has been a very humbling thing to observe and witness.
Yeah, it was like new superintendent, new school.
Well, I wouldn't say new school. Mount Vernon is Mount Vernon, and one of the things that makes Mount Vernon special is the tradition and the history that exists. We're just trying to bring in some new ideas to expand upon what is already a great school district.
It's great how you're incorporating all these new changes, but not really changing anything. So was that your goal?
That was my goal, absolutely. I wanted to assimilate into the district and just bring some of my experiences with me to see what we could do to drive us further into the future.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice having you on.
Thanks.
My next guest is Mount Vernon High School's band director, Mr. Derek Ellinger.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Did you hear about Starbucks?
In Kokomo?
Yeah.
Oh my! I saw the video. I'm a Starbucks lover, so that was sad to hear, and I'm glad no one was hurt.
That's the
Yeah.
really good part of the story.
Yeah.
But on to more happier thoughts.
Yeah.
So the band got a bunch of new instruments. How were we able to get that, and what did we get?
Well, actually, the person you just interviewed, Dr. Robbins, when he got his job, I had been talking with Mr. Campbell, the former principal, about just needs that for the band program to continue to grow with our increasing numbers. We didn't have a whole lot of the instruments that we needed to really be successful. We were using some from the middle school and it was working, but the middle school's also growing, so it just got to a point where we needed equipment. And then
all the hassle that the poor baritone players would have to go
yes,
through.
yeah, we had instruments being shared, which shares germs, students playing multiple horns, you just want to avoid those things. So Dr. Robbins came to Mr. Campbell and we talked about just that general need, and he wanted me to get some quotes together, and I created really what would be my wish list, all the instruments that we would need to really have everything that we could have to get us on the right path as far as updated equipment. And about a month later, Dr. Robbins came up to me and said, "You owe me a steak dinner because we're just getting you guys all of it." And I couldn't believe it. Usually you ask for a wish list knowing that you're going to negotiate some things and you'll get to pick, but they just got everything. We got a brand new drum line, which we're now adding into the marching band program, and it'll be featured at football games. We have an entire new brass line of all silver instruments. We used to have sousaphones, which are the big tubas that go around the body of the student, and now we have, it's called a contra. It looks like a giant boombox up here, but it just allows you to do a lot more things visually that today's marching band competitive side requires. Dozens of new woodwind instruments, English horns, bassoons, clarinets, new timpani, new marimbas. It was from top to bottom, just rejuvenation of our equipment. Yeah.
Did you ever take him out to that steak dinner?
I did not. I still need to do that, I guess. And I certainly owe him one. It's just been absolutely wonderful. And then the most visible aspect of all this is the band tower that we received that all the students and parents and teachers see when we're coming in. It's a 28-foot tower that allows our staff to be at various levels watching the group. Before we had a lift, and you can only get about 2 people up there, and we could only go so high. So this band tower, this really allows us to give better education to the students, and it's far more safe. It's a fixed structure in the ground. It's just been wonderful, absolutely wonderful to use.
Yeah, that's not the only thing, because when you first came in here in the school district, you got us new chairs, new equipment, and then also you got you've grown the band program, and then now we have 2 band classes and percussion classes. How are you able to do that?
Well, when I first got here, the band was about 80 students, which is a good size for one band. Based on the instruments that you want in an ensemble, you don't want really any more than 80 in one band. But once you get lower than 60, it's too small, you know. So we kept growing. This year, we're now up to 100 students, and that's way too big. So we split it up into 2 bands, just because the level of music that we play, you know, if you have 100 students in there, that's like having Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 and Calculus all at the same time. Teaching the freshmen, teaching the seniors need a different level of instruction than the freshmen do. So by splitting up, because of the numbers, we're able to split up, and both bands will be about 50 students. It allows us to give the underclassmen instruction that's more fundamental, scales, how we move our fingers, how we move our air, and then the group that's primarily upperclassmen, we get to focus more on the finer points of music that really you would learn at the college level. So it allows us to tailor the instruction more specifically to the needs of the students, which is what it's all about, you know. And then the separate percussion class allows us to give them their own individualized instruction. Again, when the percussion are with the winds, the woodwinds and the brass, we can't always give them what they need because we need to focus on the winds. So they're just kind of sitting in the back, bored or goofing around as percussion. You know, percussions never goof around, but by putting them in another class, we're able to give them just individual attention that they need to succeed as a percussionist.
It makes them that much more better.
Absolutely, yeah.
So last year the band got the All-American Band Award.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that.
The ISMA All Music Award is given to bands in the state of Indiana that achieve various things throughout the course of the year. ISMA is the Indiana State School Music Association. That's the association that oversees marching band competitions, concert band competitions, solo and ensemble, jazz band, pretty much every aspect that any band program would have. And they host festivals and competitions and things. In order to earn the All Music Award, you need to have a gold rating at a marching band event, state finals, state prelims. We got a gold rating at prelims and then advanced state finals, and we got a gold there too. Then the next step is solo and ensemble, where students are by themselves or playing in 3 or 4 students, a small little group, and they prepare music, and you need a student advance to state finals with that. And that can be very challenging. When you have a band of dozens and dozens of students, sometimes a few students can pick up the slack of the other ones. When you're an individual, you're by yourself. It's a solo. And so you really need to hone your skills, really practice that music individually. And you need just one person to advance. We had half the band program advance. We had, I believe, 20 or 30 soloists advance and 20 or 30 ensembles advance. It was over half. I think it was like 64% of the band advances to state finals for solo and ensemble.
And the award only required 1?
Yeah, the record only requires 1.
You
Yes.
guys really overkilled that one.
Yeah. That's what we do. And then the next step is concert band. So typically, if you think of a typical band class during the day, that's concert band. You need to advance. You need to get a gold rating in that also. And we did. Mount Vernon, for many, many years, for about a decade, has gone Group 1, which is the highest level music. It's really music that you would hear if you went to a college performance, a college concert band performance at Ball State or Indiana University. We're playing that level of music, and you need to get a gold there. And now that we have 2 bands, we'll be able to, see if we can get both bands getting that gold rating, and the different difficulty levels we'll have them do. And then the last one is jazz band. You have to have a jazz band or a jazz combo, just a smaller group playing jazz music, also earn a gold. And in all of those, we got a gold rating. And we certainly hope to do that again this year. I don't see any reason why not, knowing the students who have just been awesome, Badri included. He's one of our trumpet players.
Yeah.
Yep.
And speaking of awards,
Mm-hmm.
this year I'm pretty sure we're going to get all the awards, especially with the new brass line and all the drum lines and new instrument. So what do you think is our outlook for the marching band season?
I think things are going very well. My first year here, this is starting my third year at Mount Vernon. My first year, we picked a show. Well, I got my job here, and I had 9 days to prepare a marching band show. Usually, we start this process in January, and we start in May. So it's about a 5-month design process, planning process with our design team. And we had about 9 days. So we found a show, we started working at it, and they did very well. They got to finals in Scholastic Class A finals, and we got 11th place. And it's the first time they've ever made to a finals event in marching band at Mount Vernon. And then last year, the band grew. We started at 56 students, and last year we were at 76 students. And once again, they made finals. We increased the difficulty of the music. We had enough time to really plan this out, and we picked a show that we felt would be challenging but exciting. And they bumped from 11th all the way up to 4th place. And then this year we're moving up. We had 76 students last year, now we have 87. Plus we're adding, for the first time in 4 years, a drum line. So that we'll have a drum line on the field. And the show is very exciting. I think it's called Snowfall. It's about different things that you can be doing in snow, different experiences you can have, whether it's a blizzard or a snowball fight, or you're making a snowman, or just you're outside and it starts to snow, and think if you were a younger student, just you'd be really excited for that. So it's a show based around that, and everything's been going very well. Badri has been doing awesome. He's a very good trumpet player. It's the second time I've referenced that. He really is awesome. And
Thanks.
no problem. And I think they're going to do very well. Our first competition is at Fishers High School on September 10th. And then after September 10th, every Saturday we're out at Fishers, then Lawrence Central, then Hamilton Southeastern, then Ben Davis. Our prelims is the same day that we'll be at the Lucas Oil Stadium for a football game. Our prelims is at Whiteland Community High School, and then finals is back at Lawrence Central on October 22nd.
Looks like I better enjoy my last free weekend this weekend.
Yep. This is the last one before we're in it. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Not really. I think when I got this job 3 years ago, I told Mr. Campbell that if I was in an interview, if I was given this job, I mean, this is it. Everything here is just so outstanding. I was waiting kind of backstage while you were interviewing Dr. Robbins, and he was talking about all the just every school is a great school, an A school, a 4-star school. The students are wonderful. The students are hardworking. Sometimes you get credit for the accomplishments of your band or your school, in his case, and those things don't happen if the students aren't working hard. And every single day when I'm coming into school, I'm not stressed, I'm not worried, I'm not concerned, because I know we're going to get something done, we're going to learn, and it's going to be a fun process because the students just enjoy learning. They behave. It's not even an issue for me to have to tell students to be quiet or be prepared. It's just an awesome place to teach. I'm just incredibly blessed to be able to sit here and have an interview right now. I mean, it's just outstanding. A lot of schools don't have this opportunity, and I'm very glad that we're able to provide these things for Mount Vernon.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our very next guest is Mount Vernon's very own quarterback, Zach Montgomery.
Hey, man.
How are you doing, Zach?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. So you're new here, aren't you?
Yep. Just moved here.
From where?
The South. So Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
So, Oxford, to be exact.
Oxford. I have an uncle who lives in Oxford.
Sweet.
He works at the Ole Miss. So, Zach, you're new here and you're already like the star quarterback, aren't you?
Yep.
How's that feeling for you?
It's pretty awesome. I don't usually worry about the prima donna stuff about it that comes with the quarterback, but I'm just here for the team.
Just all work, no play. I like it.
Right.
So this last game against Hamilton Heights, I heard you guys lost 27-34. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, the biggest thing was the turnovers. We had a lot of mistakes on offense. The defense was doing their job the whole night. The offense got in the red zone, I believe it was 3 or 4 times. We just couldn't put the ball in the end zone. So amazingly, we still almost came back and beat them. But yeah,
close,
turnovers was the big thing.
Yeah, so close yet so far. So were you disappointed at all by this
Yeah,
loss?
you know, losing, I mean, obviously, it's not the best feeling in the world, but we're ready to bounce back and get ready for Marion on Friday.
All right. And how's the outlook for this team? Do you think you're going to go far?
Yeah, you know, we're doing our best. We're going through practice every day, hoping that we can win a sectional or state championship, and whatever happens, happens. So,
Just got to roll with the wind. Nice.
Right.
So what are you most excited for this season?
just playing football, honestly. I mean, through the off season, you hope waiting for that Friday night, you know, because there's nothing like it. Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights. I'm in the marching band too, so we're all looking toward Friday night. So anything else you want to add?
Nope, just ready to play.
Ready to play. Ball, ball, ball.
Right. All right, appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having me. Our next guest is Katie Smith, the girl who just sang very beautifully. So how long have you been singing?
Ever since I was 2 years old. My parents were big singers, and they're still known as the big singers, like at our church and other things. And they used to actually go downtown before I was born and like record a bunch of Sandy Patty songs. And they've taught me how to sing ever since I was a little kid.
Gone professional?
Yes, actually, I have. I've gotten several recording contracts in my life, but the one I'm most proud of is the one I got when I was like 3 or 4. I went to an audition for acting for Disney, and my parents took me. I couldn't talk on camera. That was the time in my life when I couldn't just act on camera. I freaked out. But then came the singing portion. I just made up a song, apparently right in front of the producer, just started dancing around, just singing some song that came up top of my head, and they gave me a recording contract. I turned it down, sadly, but
Why?
I don't know. I think because I was just kind of like 3 or 4 thinking, no, don't want to sign papers.
It's like, ew, contracts.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was.
It's like I've seen my fair share of TV to not just blindly sign a contract.
Oh gosh, trust me, I've seen too many contracts for stuff like that, and now I'm just like, fine print.
Man, they'll get you.
They do.
So do you see yourself in the future singing?
Professionally, I'm not very sure. I songwrite, so there will be times when I will actually record stuff myself, and then I'll put it on like through like some like iTunes sharing media site, and I'll try to put it on iTunes, which I have a couple actually. But I only do that for fun. I songwrite when I feel something, when something happens to me, and I just feel like I need to do it. It'll just come to me.
So you just gotta let it flow. You can't really force it, can you?
No, it honestly just comes to me.
So how do you manage being a girl of many talents? Like you sing very well, you play trumpet very well, you even have your own
Thank you.
YouTube channel, and you model.
I do. Thank you.
So how do you do all this?
Well, you just have to be able to limit your time. Everyone has a finite amount of time in life. We all have a certain amount of time, and we don't know when that expiration date's going to come. So what you need to do with your life is just do it. Spend your time wisely with things you actually want to do. Don't waste your time on people that aren't worth it, things that aren't worth it in your life. If you feel like this is not what you want to do, then don't do it. I do the things in my life that I think are worth it. I do the things in my life that are worth it for me, and I hang out with people that are worth it for me, and I spend my time wisely, the way I'd want to spend it.
Those are words to live by. That's like very good advice. Watch out. So do you want anything else you want to add?
All I can say is, if there's something you want to do in your life, do it. I didn't even know if I wanted to be up here for an interview. I was worried, but something told me, do it. If there's something you really want to do in your life, if there's something you know you're good at and you just haven't been able to share it with anyone, share it. Show the world. Show the world who you really are, because everyone only sees one side of you, but they don't see the complete person. So just show what you have and embrace yourself.
So don't be afraid to just do it.
Yeah, I used to be terrified, and then I think it's when I started YouTube. I just sat in front of a camera and just started talking about my life, and I saw that people were actually going through the same thing as me, and it just made me not as afraid anymore to be myself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our final guest today is Mount Vernon High School's Jordan Johnson. Hello, Jordan.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. So you're here to raise awareness for Asperger's. So what is it exactly?
Asperger's is like a type of high-functioning autism overall, it's a part of autism, and people with Asperger's, they usually don't like being in big crowds. So like if we have an assembly or something at school, people with Asperger's like me start to like tend to freak out at times when we have to be in a big crowd. So
Anything else?
um
Is it like just crowds, or is it like all over?
it's somewhat all over. Like anyone with Asperger's can relate to this because they don't like to be in big crowds, or they tend to be somewhat scared of loud noises, or they focus on like different things. Like they'll be walking somewhere like in a mall, and they'll just like listen to all the background noises and focus on like certain things, and then they'll like start freaking out because it gets too crowded, or there's really loud noises and a lot of stuff's going on, so they get overwhelmed.
So how do you? How does it feel like day to day?
It's hard at times because people, they don't really understand that I have Asperger's, and they like don't really know how to act or treat me in the same way as they would someone else. But it can be challenging a lot because I don't like to make eye contact with people a lot. I tend to like stick to one topic, like a topic of interest that like we'll be on one topic in class and I'll stick to that one, and then we'll move on to several others, but I'll always come back to that topic because that interests me the most, and I won't really focus on everything else.
So is there anything you'd want to say to people, like to adjust more, like so they know, so they won't like accidentally do anything that would offend you?
Well, there's a lot of things that people don't really understand about this. Like, with me, physically, I'm 15 years old, but socially and mentally, I'm 3 years behind the kids in my class. So I think and I act as a 12-year-old would, and it's harder for me to try and make friends. Because I try really hard so that everyone likes me or wants to be my friend or wants to be around me, but it gets hard for me because sometimes I get annoyed when people like in gym class, if we're all supposed to be doing something and me and like two others are doing something and nobody else is doing anything, I tend to get mad and I can't control like my anger and stuff. Like I can't really control what I do at times because I don't think things through at that moment. I just go with what everything is going on, and then that's part of the freaking out part.
So how's your childhood like growing up with Asperger's?
It was pretty difficult. I found out I had Asperger's, finally, I found out in 6th grade, towards the end of it, after my guidance counselor and the assistant principal at the time, they sat down and talked to me, and they noticed I wouldn't make eye contact. I would have outbursts in class, or I'd get upset easily. And lunch, they noticed me at lunch. I would try to isolate myself a lot. Sometimes I would ask, can I just sit in the guidance office and eat my lunch there? Or different things. It was pretty difficult because I didn't want to like be around people, but now I'm trying to fit in, but people don't really understand that the stuff that goes on with me is different from what goes on with them.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
If you knew someone with Asperger's, I would suggest talking to them about, like, asking them questions like does this or this annoy you at times, or how can I act around you without getting you upset or anything like that.
So just try to help them out.
Yeah.
It's like help them, help you, help them kind
Yeah.
of thing. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for educating us all on Asperger's.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Jordan.